Gunline. Fire mission coming down, y'all. It's your host Lopez, and you're listening to the On the Gunline podcast, where we shoot the shit like we did in the past. So go on and pop a squat, y'all, because it's about to get hot, and I'm not even kidding about that. Dude, this is the intro to a podcast I was doing earlier, with Hunt. It's the 200th episode, by the way, and we were just having a discussion about how the destruction of the traditional American household or traditional nuclear family, the destruction of that has now not only destroyed male masculinity, but also how it's trickling down into our military. That's where the conversation was going to be. We talked about it for a bit, and then we went on to the TikTok live, and enjoy is all I can say. Go ahead and enjoy this episode. It was a good conversation, I'll say that. It was interesting to hear someone else's point of view, and where they were coming from with it, So here's what I'll say about it, because I didn't get to say much. Well, I did get to say, but it didn't stay on the topic that I wanted it to. The destruction of the, you know what? I'll probably save that for a different day. How about that? I want to hear what you guys have to say. But I think that the destruction of the nuclear family, the traditional American family, the traditional family, mother, father, siblings, that has led to a downfall of, what American males would be seen as, they become sissy boys. I don't want to say all of them, but it's become acceptable now. And if you try to correct them from being little sissy boys, you're looked at as being toxic. So, and I want to know what your opinion is on that, if I'm wrong, and also how that is affecting the American military. What are your thoughts on that? Because my thoughts are that it's not cool, man. I mean, the military, yeah, everybody should be able to try for it, but not everybody's going to make it. You have to have a specific type of mentality. And if you don't, you ain't going to make it. But now it's okay to let them slip through the cracks. Now, anyways, that's where I wanted to go with it, but it didn't get to go there. Let me know what y'all think, and hit me up on the comments, the DMs over at onthegunline@gmail.com. And we'll talk about it for episode 201 next week on Tuesday for your midweek memo. All right. I'm gonna stop rambling on here. Again, thank you for 200. Make sure y'all go visit Redleg Custom Woodworks. The man gets down. The man gets down with his artillery rounds. And yeah, man, go check out the website, redlegcustomwoodworks.com. Maybe there's other stuff on there that he can do. He is very gifted and talented. You know what I'm saying? So definitely check him out. And then also I want to give a shout out to my homeboy over in Vidor, Texas, and they're called Jimmy Nick's. It's Southeast Texas food trailer where they specialize in award-winning barbecue. All right. And you can find them out there in Vidor. So I have it as 105 Sargent, and that's in Vidor, Texas. So if you're around that area, make sure y'all go check it out. Great barbecue. There's nothing better than Texas fucking barbecue, y'all. So go check them out. And it's not that they're sponsors, because they're not. They're just veteran businesses that support me, so I'm going to support them as well. You know what I'm saying? It's just how we do it here. So with that being said, enjoy the episode, because oh my God, Wakanda forever. Wakanda forever, y'all. I'll just say that. Catch y'all on the gun line, y'all. Hey, gunline. Fire mission coming down, y'all. You're listening to episode number 200 of the On the Gunline podcast, where we shoot the shit like we did in the past. So go on and pop a squat because it's about to get hot. We on that gunline now. As always, I got my brother from another mother who's another color, my boy Lee Hunt. He didn't do the blessing for us, so I'll do it. And today is Easter Friday, Good Friday. You know, we're worried about rabbits and stuff like that, and laying eggs. But what's going on, Hunt? How you doing today, brother?
Oh man, it's a beautiful day. Happy Good Friday to everybody out there. Yes, got to put that out. Make sure y'all set y'all's moon water out this tomorrow. This is a pink moon. Set your moon water out.
Especially those that listened to the last episode, y'all know what he's talking about. If you don't know what he's talking about, go back and listen to episode 199. It might open your mind.
Yeah, a little expansion.
Anyway, speaking of Easter, were there any traditions regarding Easter you grew up with at all as a kid?
Yeah, man. One of my favorite traditions actually was with my grandma, man. We used to always watch the 10 Commandments back in the day.
Oh, word.
That and we, did the egg thing and everything, dyed eggs and all that good stuff. But definitely watching 10 Commandments, that's still, matter of fact, I might even watch that Sunday.
I feel you. I had traditions as well, but it was more around the Christmas time. We would watch The Sound of Music. It was my mom's favorite movie back in the day. I don't know what the hell The Sound of Music has to do with Christmas, but my mama would watch it. I think she just liked hearing fucking people sing. But this has brought me to start thinking about it. I was thinking about it earlier during the week while I was sitting in line waiting to pick up my daughter. And do you recall ever hearing about the traditional nuclear family when you?
Yes, I do, man. I've heard a lot about the traditional family, and I have my opinions on it as well, as I'm sure you do.
Mm-hmm. So let's define the nuclear family according to my knowledge, because by the way, y'all, this is uninformed opinions coming from me. I don't Google shit. The one that Googles is not here. That's Urena. And he'll be back either next week or the following. So this is going to be uninformed opinions, just our opinions of what we know. So to me, the nuclear family, the way I understand it is, your mom, your dad, and 2.5 kids. I don't know where the half comes from. But mom, dad, kids. You know what I mean? Traditional at home, both of them there. Dad works. Mom's traditional housewife or stay-at-home mother, and it seems that speaking of something like that nowadays can be viewed as something negative. Now, do we have the same idea of what a nuclear family is?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, that's what I think a nuclear family is too. And I think you're absolutely right. In today's society, that is looked down upon, man. And Cam Newton just got in trouble for something like that, and that's what's crazy, man.
Who did?
Cam Newton.
Word?
Yeah, everybody made a big fuss because he was like, "No, man, like this is what I want as a traditional family," and like they were calling him a sexist pig and all this other stuff. But he was like, "You can't cook, you can't clean. Like, why do I need you here?" But it was the way in today's society, it came across very sexist and this, that, and the third, and it was like it was subjecting women only to being the role as somebody that cooks, cleans, and take cares. Not like a woman having her own opinion, voicing, and her voice mattering inside the relationship. But that's the way these people took it.
So while I was sitting in the car waiting to pick my daughter up, the question that came to my head and that I had, and are we live on that other place?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
The question that I had was, has the destruction of the nuclear family led to a view of traditional masculinity being seen as toxic or antiquated? Now, when I say traditional masculinity, I think about our our action heroes back in the day. Schwarzenegger, Wesley Snipes, Bruce Willis, mean looking, fellas. And I'm trying to keep my, just for y'all to know, I'm trying to keep my bad words limited. So with that being said, I mean, now it's not, now it's like they look more effeminate, if that makes sense. And why? What has led to the destruction of the nuclear family is my question.
I don't know, but it really has. And it's a shame that there is that destruction. And now, anytime that like people like me or you talk about it, we're seen as being toxic, or we're seen as not believing in women's rights and that women have rights. But it's not that. Somebody said, man, and it was very important. When a woman submits to a man, the man has no power. The man has zero fucking power. And it really blew my mind. It's like, that's exactly right. Because like that woman has all the power at that point.
So,
and it's crazy that people don't understand that.
Here's the thing, like, I guess to me, I think about it like different people had different roles. All right. So, you know, in the nuclear family, or my understanding of it, is dad went to work, mom stayed at home. Does that make her less than him? No. They both have different roles. Because I'll tell you what, being a stay-at-home parent is a fucking 24-hour job. Excuse my language. Is a 24-hour job. You know what I mean? It never ends. You know, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're laundering. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know when that became a bad thing to want something traditional. Now, if Cam Newton's saying that he wants a traditional nuclear or a traditional family, first of all, if you guys aren't hooking up with him, why are you even tripping on him? That's obviously that he's not going to want you, you know? And if he wants a specific type of woman, then what's wrong with the woman, you know, being like, hey, I'll be with you. I love you and I'll take care of the house. You just worry about you going to do you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it seems like in today's society, and this is what's crazy. It's like if you're a man, you're not allowed to have an opinion about women, about nothing, right? But women are allowed to have their opinion and to just bash men and say, no, this is the standard. This is what I want. It has to be 6 feet tall, has to be 200 pounds. And then it's like, okay, ladies, that's fine and dandy. But when you make your statement like that, one, like you said, is ultimately destroying the nuclear family, because you're trying to just, it's just about you at this point. It's not about your family.
Exactly.
It's about what you want. You know what I'm saying?
Do you?
And two, you're giving credence to idiots like Kevin Samuels, who, in my opinion, he's helped bringing down the nuclear family. Like, I got it. I know you listen to him, but
yeah. So no, and I got what you're saying. Like for Kevin Samuels, I do listen to him, and I listen to more than just the viral clips that you know that people listen in where he goes ham on their asses because the females are acting stupid. But a lot of what he says is true. As far as like women are setting themselves up for failure. Okay, I get it. The whole rise of feminism, that's what's destroyed the nuclear family. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm all about equal opportunity for everyone. Do what you want to do. But at the home, everybody has their specific roles. And that, my friends, is my opinion on what's destroyed the nuclear family. Not only that, it's destroyed what masculinity is supposed to be, which in turn has now trickled down into the generations of men we have now that are by effeminate. Okay, just putting it out there, effeminate. When we were growing up, they were effeminate. Now they're just, or metrosexual and shit like that. I get it. You know, do you, boo boo? But here's the thing: it's now trickled down. It's, to me, it has filtered into this new generation. And now when I think about it, I think about our military. Okay, and this is where I was going to try to tie it into. Like, it's trickled down into our military now, where we have, I used to have and I still have it, a mindset of what a drill sergeant looked like. I had a mindset of what a soldier looked like, a Marine, a sailor, anybody in the military. You know, I had an idea of what they looked like, right? And now it's gone because it's no longer that, you know. And even to our fellow servicemen and women who switched hit for the other batting team, you know, they still maintained their uniformity. You know what I mean? They still had the pride in what they look like. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, man. I do believe that in today's society, man, with the way the cancel culture and everything is, I do believe that like everybody's tending to want to walk on eggshells more and more, and they're not wanting to hurt anybody's feelings. And I think that that in itself is trickling down into what the nuclear family would be, because like, man, like I was on somebody's live and like they, not to beat a dead horse, they got on me because I was like, hey, you know, Jada should have protected Will in that situation. So they got on me. It's not her right. It's not her role to protect Will. I was like, yeah, but y'all not thinking about it. Before all this stuff came out, I was like, y'all not thinking about like his legacy. He's going to do this, that, and the third. I'm talking about this was the day after it happened. And I was telling them this. And I was like, she should have stopped him, right? Her role, in my opinion, which doesn't mean shit, her role would have been like, you know what? No, you were willing to do this for me, but I have to protect you in order to protect our family. Like, I see what you were going to do, but I got to stop you from doing something crazy.
And any woman in her right mind who cared about her old man would have stopped them in a heartbeat. I know my old lady would have been like, hey, pump your brakes. I appreciate what you want to do, but this ain't the time and place. You know what I'm saying? And again, I go to the what the hell do they call feminazis, the feminism that has destroyed the role, because now they make it seem like being in a traditional marriage, you're
less than something.
You're talking down to them, or like it's, oh, how dare you? You're setting us back hundreds of years. Like, no, it's what I want to do. So where's the feminism or the feminists, supporting the person who wants to be a traditional housewife? I don't think it's support.
You know what, they don't, and it's crazy. They really don't get support. Now you see the ones that are support, hey, hot girl summer, this, that, and the third. But there are young women out there that do just want to be a traditional, quote unquote, a traditional wife or homemaker, whatever, and they're perfectly fine with it. And listen, that's their life, that's your life, that's between you and your husband. If that's what you choose to do, so do it.
And here's the thing, though, Hunt. Going back to it, it's about raising your children, right? Raising them in the way that you want to raise them. So if it's raised the way that traditionally girls play with girl stuff, boys play with boy stuff, if it wasn't broke, why fix it? Or why try to fix it? I don't think it was broke.
I think that there's, as far as it being broke and not fixing it, I think that people just want to feel comfortable in who they are and not have to hide. And I'm not saying that people should have to hide and
right,
do this, you do that, but I don't think that in itself is leading to the tearing down of the nuclear family. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I just think that it's okay to be you, who you are, right? But like you said, there's just certain things that I think should happen. Once again, man and wife, they should come together. There's no reason why they can't come together and talk out the differences. And where it goes both ways with the men and women. Mm-hmm. Women deserve to have their voices heard too in a relationship, right? Because guess what? They're going to be able to see shit that a man's not going to be able to see.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they deserve to have their voices heard in a relationship. It's like, hey, listen, I know you hyped right now, but you need to look at it this way. That's in my opinion, that's what a traditional nuclear family would be. Somebody that could calm me down when I'm ready to go.
I think that a lot of people have a misconception thinking that having a traditional marriage or traditional relationship is the man runs the show and the woman is down here. No, not at all. I think we have a traditional marriage here, kind of, because she works, but that's for other reasons. But what it boils down to is she respects my word because and
so we got a question from one of my friends. Yeah. He said, can we define the nuclear makeup? What's tradition or tradition to who?
Okay, traditional nuclear family is a mother, a father, 2.5 kids in the home.
Wait, you know what? I'll say this as far as like traditional who. Like I said, I had a therapist, and she was a Spanish lady, and she was telling me, I was talking to her, and I was like, I feed my kids, started with my daughters first, then my youngest sons to my oldest sons, and I was like, boom. Then I'll like have my wife get her plate, and then I'll get my plate.
Mm-hmm.
And my therapist was like, oh no, man, that wouldn't fly in my house. And she was like, I'm Hispanic, and I was always raised to that, the husband needs to eat first. And I was like, nah, man, I got it. My ex-wife is Guatemalan, but I'm like, nah, man, like with me, like I got that. Apparently that's, the whole Hispanic culture where the man eats first, right?
Yeah. That's just our culture. So according to the great mighty Google, a traditional nuclear family consists of a married couple and their biological child or children. A child in a traditional nuclear family lives with both biological parents. If siblings are present, only full brothers and sisters, that is, siblings who share the same two biological parents. That could be a gray area, because I only have one full brother, and that's because it's my brother Doug. But I grew up with all my mom's kids. That was an extra 4 of them. So I'm the last of 6. So, but either way, it's the nuclear family is mom, dad, and brothers and sisters. That's what I call it. And y'all live together in the same home. So what ended up destroying this? Again, I'll go to the feminism, because I'm not talking about, I think traditional households or traditional nuclear families probably get a crappy view, because they say, oh, the woman's always been put down.
Hey, I gotta guess Lopez is DA Select. He was on here the first time. He was the one that was asking the questions, and I want to get his input too as well.
Let me set up my light real quick.
Okay, he's gonna set up, but go ahead a little bit.
No, so and I think what ended up happening with that was that women, it's not that they got liberated, it's just that they I don't want to say they don't know their place, because that doesn't sound right, but they make it seem like, again, that if a person was go ahead, brother.
Yeah, go ahead, DA.
All right, so I was really getting at, when you're reading, and which is great that we could go to Google, and Google can tell us what Google says nuclear is, but also you got to look at that definition of traditional nuclear family is only defined by European Americans, all right, or white people. That's what that's defined as when you say traditional nuclear family. Because what happens is, if you have some black families who will say that the same thing, they lack memory of anything prior to slavery. And I'm saying prior to the transatlantic slave trade, to what Africa or even native tribes here will call a nuclear family. And so the nuclear family in Africa is not the same that you're reading from that Google. A nuclear family in Africa, you're talking about communalism, tribalism, that men were with men, women were with women, families were still functioning. And even today, when you have a transgender son in the home, they're saying that is not traditional nuclear family. But I say to who? Because if you go all the way back, and even in some tribes in South America will go to nuclear family, that will not define it. So what I'm saying, we're defining that, and so when people say, oh, that's against the nuclear family, to who? Because the nuclear family and other customs is totally different than European.
So I'll say then the American nuclear family, because I don't live in South America. I don't live in Central America. And if I was to live the way that we did it back in the old country where my parents are from, that would be completely feminist and anti-feminism or trans or whatever. Because over there, it's a whole different story.
Yeah.
So let's say when you talked about like how it was like with, back in the days with Africa, right? Now, are you talking about like where they were more along the lines of like what was considered traditional or even normal or social norms? Would that be like polygamy or polygyny? Or would that be that, or am I just in the different ballpark?
But that's the thing. See, when you go back to tradition, you're talking about people who loved just had, or should I say, love to love. You want to broke it down to one person that you submitted to, whether you were a man or a woman. Even if you go back to the days of the pharaoh, there were female pharaohs who had different lovers. There were male pharaohs who had different concubines. But
we're talking about that's a long, long time ago. But we're talking about here and now. I mean, if we're talking about here and the now of America.
What do bloodlines?
Yeah, I will say this as far as like the concubine thing goes. Like we have gotten away from that as an American society because we look down on that now. As far as like having concubines and multiple, partners, this, that, and the third is always looked down upon. But
look down upon who, brother? You look down upon that.
No, I don't look down upon it personally. I don't, because it's like that's that person's business. Like for instance, like we can't in America we can't have more than one wives, right? Technically, right? You can't be married to more than one person.
Polyamorous and shit.
In my opinion, it shouldn't matter because that has nothing to do with me. With what? If you want to have 2 or 3 wives, have it.
Exactly. I have it hard enough with one. I don't want more than one.
But what I'm trying to say is, because in our minds, we've been oppressed to believe that is true. Now, me, I can only be with one person, but that's because my mind has been oppressed to believe that and function in that way. But if you were natural and born in your natural self, you wouldn't know what you would do. But we as man, we have what is during the patriarchy drives us to our thoughts, a bit barbaric, happen to be what we call the masculinity, which is a made up word, another word that's made up in the dictionary that defines what's masculine and what's feminine. No, Webster put his name on it and everybody believed it. That's how I look at that.
So what word would you use to define a male or male traits?
But even when I speak to you from my definition of male traits, it all comes from the whitewash of what I've been taught to believe today.
Okay, what language are you speaking right now?
So
no, I'm trying to say so. Now I can go back to what my ancestors and books I've read would say. But when you get my answer is going to be wrapped up in white supremacy.
How is that white supremacy?
Because European thought white supremacy, such as the patriarchy within white supremacy, we've been washed to believe that the day we decide to call ourselves Americans. See, I like to ask the question. People say, when did you become Americans? The question I ask is, when did we stop being Africans?
The day
let me ask this question real quick, right? Because you talked about like as far as like the male masculinity, right? Now, and the definition of that. Now, me and Lopez have talked about this, right? I think there needs to be a certain level, if you will, of this hyper masculinity, and this is where I'm going with this, right? All 3 of us share one thing in common: we're all veterans.
Yeah.
And I know that there's, because I did try out for SFAS, there is a certain type of person that's going to make it, and they need that quote unquote, that hyper masculinity or whatever, because those are the ones that are going to be doing the tier 2 and the tier 1 jobs. Correct? It's like, it's not meant for everybody. Like I said, I really wish I'd have trained and I'd have did it. I really do, but I didn't have it in me. So would you agree that on some level that there needs to be that quote unquote masculinity label or whatever?
Well, with that said though, Hunt, even if we want to go back to tribalism, you had your different folks that were warriors that were of a different type, a different breed per se. You know what I'm saying? And then you had your others that were going to be out there going fishing.
But like, I love you just said that, because there was tribes in Africa of all female warriors, and no one said they were masculine. They were beautiful warriors. So that's what I'm trying to say. masculine energy. Because if a woman does it, they call a black woman they always try to tag the black women as hyper masculine, or women. They even would say, even back in the day, that black women had manly features. Knowing that there's
I know a lot of women of all races that have manly features. They're usually a lot of I can't say that.
He said he knows a lot of women in all races that have manly features.
But right, and you're right. But what I'm trying to say is, tribal women who were warriors were not labeled masculine. Why do we label any woman who could do what a male can do on any standard? Why do we call them masculine women?
So what do you think, back to the whole traditional, the topic as far as like the nuclear family, what would be a suggestion that you would have to, if it's going to be moving away from the traditional nuclear family, what would be your suggestion to what family and the community would be? What would be the name that you would call it instead of the nuclear family?
No, I like that you say that. Even if you kept the word nuclear, you just the definition will be a floating signifier to where you're at. Okay, so nuclear to a family, to any of us that have been Europeanized or colonized, has a colonized mind, we're going to look at nuclear family and we're going to put the definition to where we are in this world today.
But see, I can't call it a colonized mind, because even when I think about my people before the Spaniards came, they still lived in a communal. They had their family, they had their spouse, the child, and the man. And the man did the gathering, the hunting, and the woman did the home stuff. So, I mean, maybe in different parts of the world things were different, but I don't see anything wrong having that form of a structure of a father, mother, kids, and I think it's all about the what each person believes in.
I agree with you, but that structure is broken in some communities.
That's where I wanted to go to, because the nuclear family, you know what, we'll just say the traditional family has been broken. And as we were just talking about earlier, a lot of it has to do with the feminization or the feminism. I'm sorry?
I said, it cannot be broken. Like I said, it's broken in other people's understanding because it's where you're at. Would a person in tribalism or communalism in Africa still living out there by themselves and has not been touched by any type of, should I say, colonizer or colonization that come into their orthodox villages that still operate in certain ways?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
how far along are they ahead in civilization, though?
Their family is going to be different from ours.
And so, again, that would be out there in Africa. I can't speak for Africa. Never been to Africa. Flown over it many times. Never been there. But for those communities, if that's what works for them, cool. But here in the States, it's just the way things are.
Okay, right. But here's the difference. They're not trying to push what family is onto anyone else to make them define it as family.
Where?
You don't see people from Africa trying to press on what a nuclear family is in Africa everywhere. You don't see them having to fight for laws to, like, even if it's same sex, you don't see them having to fight for laws that protect them even in marriage.
So one thing that I will say, like and this was just what I seen, and I hope it's not true, that they're really, kind of cracking down in Africa about same sex, couples.
But who's that getting pushed on from though?
Okay.
Wasn't there like a lot of traditional African stuff? And I don't know, there's probably propaganda that there were like certain things of like the female circumcision on children out there in Africa as well. I mean, are those traditions we want to uphold as well?
But those traditions have been passed down.
Right, but are those traditions we want to uphold?
However, now I'm not familiar with the practice you just said, but I'm sure if that village and that family and they've been doing this forever and ever, that's their traditions and what's lived in their bloodline.
Got it. So now, with that said, the traditions that we have here in this American culture, why are we going to change that if we've been doing that here now for the past 300 years?
So I think with Lopez too, he's mestizo. So a lot of that he's talking about too, with how the mestizos were, with the man, the woman, the children, that was passed down with the mestizos, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Right. Okay. So mestizo is a mixture. A mestizo is an Indian or whatever, Indian and Spaniard. You know what I'm saying? That's what we are. And the reason that the mestizo came along was we consider ourselves mestizos was because anybody who was Indian or, say that they were Indian, they were being taken out. You know what I'm saying? So they were like, all right, I'm mestizo.
Are you saying native or indigenous, or are you using the word, when you're saying Indian, are you saying native or indigenous? Is that what you mean?
Indian, Indio.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, Indio, the ones that were here in Central America. The Maya, Pipil.
So we got the comment says isolated tribes traditions on non-colonized areas. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
That's facts. I like that. Isolated tribes tradition on non-colonized. Yeah,
I think there's one isolated place that's never been touched by mankind, and that's over there in the Indian Ocean, I believe it is. That even when they try to go there, they kill anybody that comes to that island. That's the only place that's like literally untouched. I forget the name of those people. What are they called? Now you got me looking them up.
I know who you're talking about. I've heard about them too. But it would be. So you think there needs to be a legit study, so that people nowadays we can actually kind of get to this and we can normalize what everybody else sees as a traditional, quote unquote, a traditional family. So that way there is no.
But that's the thing though, because now all those definitions and what we call morality in America is all outlined in law. And when you have a certain demographics that hold law in their hand, which is all the way to the Supreme Court, which the voting is 6-3. When you hold law in your hand, you're going to have the law of the world, the law of the nations. I mean, you're looking at even right now, and I'm not trying to really get political,
but
you're looking at the stripping of even the Voters' Rights Act, when you're now allowing gerrymandering to go on, when you're allowing them to take away polls in black neighborhoods and increase the polls in white neighborhoods. And where you're actually going to ticket somebody for giving someone a thing of water because they got to wait 5 or 6 hours just to vote at the one poll that's holding 3 counties. So
I think a lot of that is talking points though, because from it is.
Go ahead. What you saying?
A lot of those are like talking points. You know what I'm saying? Because there's actually different. It's all good. So what I wanted to get to though was as far as like the destruction of the nuclear family or of the traditional family, how it's affecting our military now. How, first of all, it's affecting every community. Especially, I grew up in the hood. I grew up in South Central LA, and so I seen what not having both parents in the home has done. I was lucky enough to have both parents at home.
Okay. I have a question. When you say both parents, does both parents have to be a certain gender?
I don't care about that. I'm not going to get into the little topics of he, she. I don't play that. So whatever floats your boat. How about that?
So 2 parents are good, right? Be it male, female, right?
If that's what floats your boat. In my opinion, male, female, because they're the ones that can make a child. But we're not going to get that specific because I don't want to get you all canceled on TikTok again.
Right.
Yeah, because I have a lot of people that love to try to ban me for whatever reason.
I hear what you're saying. So I'm just going to say, let's go with that. Studies in what we call the way of thought here in the United States. Yes, studies have said that 2 parents in the household, I'm not going to care what gender, but 2 parents in the household have been a lot healthier and a lot more functional for those families. Mm-hmm. But a lot of that function comes from stabilize economical growth in those families. Because if you have two parents in the household who both have a job, they're going to have stabilized growth in those families. And those studies are saying that those families tend to be more healthy than others. So really, it's economically liberated families. Whether it be one parent or two, when you do not have an economic problem, those families are going to prosper.
But see, I think that it's, you know, regardless of what gender it is, right? If one parent, you know, works and is the provider, and the other parent is there, you know, and I don't know if this is because, like, I just grew up with my mom, my grandma, my grandpa in the house, right? So, but I would see that and be like, you know, I would want for me, without, you know, anything else, I was like, for me, for L Hunt, I would want to be, you know, the one that traditionally worked. I was dual military, whatever, besides the point, but I would want to do that. And I wouldn't mind personally if, you know, my wife would stay home and she wanted to, you know, do that. But if she wanted to work, that's fine and dandy too. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing, though. A lot of the fucking parents or a lot of those households, what's missing is the father figure. Okay? The father figure, the man of the house. All right. Now, you said you had your grandfather there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you had a father figure. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of these folks where I grew up at, and now as far as the social economic shit, all right. So what has caused people not to go to work? And don't tell me that there ain't no jobs. There's a lot of jobs out there. It's become the dependency on government assistance. Because you know what? My people came from down south and they had no problem going out there and hustling their ass. I'll tell you what, you'll find an American begging for money at the end of the freeway, but you'll find a brown fool from down south of the border hustling, trying to sell oranges, trying to sell flowers, trying to sell candy. He will not be begging. He will be trying to make a dollar.
Now, I will say this: if we're gonna, I do see, you know, a lot of the Spanish people working, but if we're gonna go with this statistic wise, according to the statistics, there's a lot of pale people that are receiving government assistance.
There are. Have you ever been to Appalachia? Yeah, of course. They're the majority of the country.
I want to throw out the whole stigmatism on who accepted what for long periods of times and got on, because you can't compare when you say, you said, hey, I see my people, which respect your people who have come here and have carved out their way in America and have made it and done great. Either way, they started out in Orangefield, or whether they had kids selling gum at the border, regardless of what they made. They came over and they made it.
Gotcha, pimp. All right, and we're going to go ahead and take a pause here on that topic. So far, it's been a good one. I hope y'all enjoying this 200 episode. Man, I've been...
My ancestors built everything that your ancestors are now coming to get made the American dream. No, like I said, no disrespect to it, but my ancestors worked tobacco fields, rice fields, cotton fields, and grew the...
Hey, I gotta go. I got it.
All right, too easy, brother. And go ahead and call. Go ahead and dip out, bro. Go ahead and hang up.
Oh. Hey.
They were. They were always told they could only get the bottom jobs and be happy at the bottom.
Hey.
So they fought.
Hey.
And now said we should be this.
Just end it, dog.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta go. I've been getting calls left and right, man. It's my son. He's calling me. We can continue this later, but my son's been calling me. I gotta go. All right, y'all take it easy.
All right, dog. You be easy, dog. All right, and with that being said, Lee Hunt, I'll talk to you later, dog. You know where to reach out to me.
All right, no problem.
For sure. So, everybody, that was a fun conversation. Honestly, it was definitely a good one. I don't know, should I put this at the end or put it in the front? So anyways, I hope y'all were able to hear that combo. So back to the question originally, I'm gonna have to pause this one. Damn it. So yeah, as you can see, it got cut out abruptly because Hunt had a call come in. It was through his TikTok. So we try to do this, get to TikTok so it could go ahead and get some interaction going with everyone else. So we'll let y'all know when we do that again so we could get more interaction with you all. It was definitely something different. Let me know what y'all think, man. Hit us up, comments, DMs over at onthegunline@gmail.com. Check us out on the socials, man. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just look up on thegunline.com. It has links there to the socials. All right. Also to the merch store if you're looking for some merch. If you like the t-shirts, that's how just a side hustle, I guess you could say. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I'll catch y'all here on the Gun Line on the midweek memo. With that said, rounds complete. Intermission. Gun Line out. Happy 200th, y'all. Bye, motherfuckers.